how significant is Egypt's condemnation of the so-called Greater Israel rhetoric in the current diplomatic landscape?
Hello, everyone. Of course, this decision in this case or any other cases, this is very important in the diplomatic world. This shows that they reject this. This shows that they condemn this, and so this doing this actually is not acceptable from the Egyptian side. And so, in the future, if Israel takes any further steps to use this um, expression, we will show that we reject this diplomatically, and doing this right is very important. And so after that, it is our right diplomatically and due to the international law to take the some. And so this Egyptian step was actually very, very important, and it was very professional of Egypt. And what's good is that Egypt and Jordan didn't miss this opportunity and took it took it greatly for the sake of the whole world, because now Israel is occupying. They have expansion plans and they want to occupy further lands in Palestine and other. According to Netanyahu, according to according to what they say, they want to occupy all the countries.
So what impact could Israel's approval of 3,400 new settlement units around occupied Jerusalem actually have on the two-state solution?
Unfortunately, Israel didn't just, have enough of what it did to Gaza, but it has also some strikes on the West Bank and in occupied Jerusalem. And so ever since Israel occupied Jerusalem in 76, it wants to take, it wants to have as much settlements as they can in Jerusalem, and it wants to satisfy its people, and it wants to change the history of the city. It wants to erase the Arabic and the Islamic history, but it is actually it has the history of Palestine, not just Arabic and not just Islamic. It has even Christians and Jews, and they want to erase all that, and they want it to be following Israel only, and has Israeli history only, by building more settlements in this area, and then having people, having the Israeli people live there. And so they are just trying to remove their identity.
We want to know from you, sir, how might Egypt's mediation efforts influence the chances of achieving a ceasefire in Gaza?
Egypt is actually the only country in this mediation talks, and it is the only country that doesn't have an agenda or doesn't have goals or like behind the scenes things that it do. And so the Egyptian mediation, if this doesn't work, then there will be no mediation altogether. And so Egypt is capable of doing this mediation and capable of controlling it, and reaching an agreement. And so behind the scenes, it is said that there is some kind of agreement talk that they are being prepared, and they will talk about about international forces that enter Gaza. They want, and one of them is Egyptian forces, to end the chaos in Gaza and end the Israeli occupation in Gaza, and forcing security, forcing military there, and giving them humanitarian aid, and reconstructing some hospitals to to cure the Palestinians from the from the issues caused by the starvation, not just from the strikes and stuff. And so the Egyptian plan is calling for a rapid response, and they want to have control that doesn't belong to Hamas or anything.
Mm-hmm. And what are the broader regional security implications if Israel expands settlements and extends sovereignty over the West Bank?
Of course, this will just, it will not slide in Palestine, because in the old Jerusalem, this not slide, and there Israel did some things to provoke them in the summer of 2021, and there was like a small coup from the civilians in Jerusalem, and so this is bound to happen again, actually, again, and the people there will have a coup again. They will not stay silent when they hear about these decisions. This is their land, and what happened in 2021 and is expected to happen again now, that some Palestinians from the inside, or the Palestinians from 48, they took the side of these tensions in Palestine because of their proximity to Jerusalem and the Al Aqsa Mosque. This is, it has some religious, and so if Israel doesn't do this step, it will see how the people react.
Mr. Omar, how could Israel's reported plans for a full-scale occupation of Gaza affect the humanitarian situation on the ground?
This will actually, we were talking now about a crisis. If we're talking now about a crisis, what is going to happen if Israel actually announces this? This will go beyond just a crisis. This will, they want to erase them. This is a genocide. And in this case, we won't be able to do anything but, we will have lots and lots of victims daily. They will not just die because of the Israeli strikes, but because of hunger and the diseases that are starting to outbreak in Gaza. And so the only safe thing to do in this scenario is that the US President Donald Trump said that he doesn't support Israel with what's going on in Gaza right now, and that this suggestion has been erased because of the Egyptian rejection and their absolute rejection for Israel to be in Gaza.
Well, speaking of Trump and the role of the United States, what role might the U.S. policy play in shaping or enabling Israel's settlement expansion and sovereignty moves?
Unfortunately, Donald Trump's government, like all ones before, they recognize Israel's sovereignty over Jerusalem and the West Bank, and they don't have a problem with, and they won't. They don't want to postpone even this decision to keep the relationships. And so we can't say that the U.S. is, opposing Israel. Or that they are giving a request or like an order to stop their policy. And so the Egyptian policy stays, with its all diplomatic decisions and steps to follow the international law and to all that. So Egypt's role is the only correct, response for this.